What's up, y'all? Kyle Hamilton here. I want to give a quick shout out to Lucas, Connor, and Ryan in the Week Zero podcast.
Jackson rolling out, 3rd and 7 after the penalty, and it's a completion to Kuma. He's still running. Kuma breaks free against a tired defense as the Hokies deliver the dagger here in Tallahassee. Empty look for Richardson. Oh, that is danger! Oh my! Keidron Smith cuts inside, and he's gonna pick six it in the swamp. Cat scratch fever Smith.
DJ is picked off, intercepted again by Benjamin Morrison. Here goes Morrison down the sideline. Can he go? Yes, he can. Touchdown, pick six, Benjamin Morrison. Nix drops back underneath. Touchdown, Bucks. Wow. Chase Porter.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Gold Standard. I am your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host, Sean, over on ND Forever on Twitter. Sean, what a week, man. You and me, we both met up in South Bend to see the butt-kicking that was Notre Dame versus Southern Cal. Man, what a game.
Dude, your office is really revamped. Got all the helmets back there. Yeah, what a game that was, huh? I mean,
yeah,
perfect game to go to.
It really was. And, you know, like, I've seen people say, oh, we shouldn't have stormed the field, blah, 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 blah. I personally don't mind it because I think it was a perfect spot to do so. With an undefeated USC coming to South Bend, and we utterly dismantled them. So, first of all, like, what was your thoughts on storming the field? And then we'll get into the game.
So this was my first game in about 5 years, and my first second ever Notre Dame home game, first in like 6, 7. So, yeah, it was a great experience. Do I feel like we should have stormed the field? If it was any other top 10 team, yes. With it being USC, we kind of expected a rival to win. So maybe not. I wouldn't feel we should have stormed the field. But being at the game, we were joking before the game, like, if we win, we're storming the field. And I'm not going to not storm the field, right? When do you ever – I tweeted this the other day. How many times in your lifetime have you seen Notre Dame storm the field? Most people said 2 to 3 times. Like this, Clemson, and maybe Stanford 2012. Like, it just never happens. You never get the opportunity to step on that field and exit through. Here come the Irish Tunnel.
Yeah,
right where they run into.
Did you go get it? Yeah.
And we were right there by Hartman.
Oh, you got in there?
Yeah, we got a video of him going like, yeah.
I don't know how, because, dude, I don't, maybe because I stayed on the field a little longer. I couldn't get to the tunnel.
It was hard, I mean, to get to the tunnel, but
people were pushing and shoving, and like I got a picture with Mitchell Evans. I couldn't find any of the
I
other
saw
players.
Mitchell Evans too, but I almost been like, hey, good job, but I felt like he was like, excuse me, I don't want to get in trouble. I just said, hey, good job, Mitchell, but I didn't want to bombard him when there were so many people around. So
yeah, he put his helmet on one of the fans. He gave his helmet to one of the fans, and they were doing the Irish jig. That was hilarious.
That's dope.
But go ahead.
But yeah, great game, really great game, and I'm glad we stormed the field. I mean, I never would have thought in a million years I could do what I've always dreamt of doing, stepping on that field. And what a first game for my wife to go to. First ever college football game.
How'd she like it?
So I'm sure now she's like, is this what every game's like? No, we ain't storming the field at every game. But I mean, it's going to be hard to top that. So, yeah, I mean, I like I said, I don't know if we should have stormed the field, but I was joking with the people behind me. I was like, I hope we're storming the field if we win. They're like, yeah, we're right behind you. And I was like, I ain't going to be the first person on the field.
How'd you
Like,
get
I
down, by the way? 'Cause
arrested.
weren't you on the higher level?
Oh yeah.
How'd you get down?
We hurdled. We were like, move. This one guy said, "Hey, you trying to storm the field?" We said, "Nope, moving."
Yeah, our ushers, he's like, because we people were starting to line up with like 5 minutes left, and he's like, "So go sit down. We're gonna storm the field, but you guys gotta wait till about 3 minutes." So you were lining up, and I couldn't believe there were a lot of Notre Dame fans that left, like that didn't even stay for the end of the game. They just left.
I saw a lot of USC fans leave, but I didn't see a lot of Notre
Yeah,
Dame fans.
where I was, at least, I was on the 25
Mm.
on Notre Dame side, like the right side of the field.
I felt like our seats were perfect. We could see the whole game. We weren't all the way up, but we were like,
I about hurt myself hopping on the field though.
really.
Because I jumped by the mums. That's where me and a lot of other people jumped. And so there's like a big drop off. And I jumped and I about fell and hit my head on like one of the sideline benches. And I'm like, great. And then I just like ran and I was like, dude.
I laid right on the midfield logo. Laid right on the logo and had a picture taken.
Did they not do the school fight song? Did they not do the
They didn't do all the stuff at the end just because
the fans?
It is dangerous for the players to be on the field when the field is stormed. I mean, we're not going to do anything to them, but I mean, you never know.
They did it for the Clemson game though. Like they stayed on the field and did the fight song for the Clemson game, but
yeah, but they just left.
They
the
just
band
did.
was sitting there like, what are we doing? Like,
yeah, they were waiting, I think.
Yeah, I mean that was crazy. I mean,
did
we
you do
jumped
the F the Trojans chant?
No,
we did that we were in the tunnel going up, and everyone started doing F the Trojan. It was hilarious.
Dude, I mean, I have a whole video of me climbing down the stands, jumping, and running on the field.
Oh man,
and
crazy.
I mean, I like. Do you know there's millions, 4 million, 5 million Notre Dame fans?
Yeah,
probably 1%, less than 1% has stepped on the field. Like, we're very fortunate and lucky to be able to do that. And
yeah.
Man, it was crazy.
All right, let's go ahead and get into the game itself. Obviously, Notre Dame started things off strong with the interception of Caleb Williams by Xavier Watts. We'll talk about Xavier Watts here in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, Sean, what were your thoughts on the game? Did it play out how you thought? Did it surprise you a little bit? What were your takeaways from this?
It surprised me. That was the worst I've ever seen Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is a generational prospect, whether you want to admit it or not, Ryan. So that's one of the worst games, if not the worst game he's ever played. I didn't expect after the Louisville game, who lost to a 1-win Pitt, to come out there and play as hard as they did. And maybe it was refreshing being home, a rivalry, getting the trophy back. But, man, they came out with fire in their ass. And I do have something to say about this game. So it did piss me off on Twitter when people said, if y'all are watching, oh, there's still problems with the offense. The offense only averaged 5 yards a carry or 5 yards a play, while USC averaged 8 or 9 yards a play. Well, no shit, Sherlock. It's kind of hard to average more than 5 yards a play when every time you get the ball, it's starting in the red zone. Like, they had majority of time of possession, and half the time we had the ball, it was across midfield. And we had a kickoff return for a touchdown. We barely had our offense on the field.
Yeah, I will say I'll push back on that a little bit, because I do think I agree with you on that, but I also think there were a lot of times where Notre Dame had, drives where we started at normal field position, and besides the Tyree touchdown, we really couldn't make anything. To me, it was like USC is the type of defense where you should be able to score on them with ease. I don't care if it's from your own 10. You should be able to score on them with these pretty much every time your offense touches the ball, and that wasn't the case. I mean, we saw Arizona State do better offensively completely than Notre Dame did against USC. Well, I agree with what you said.
But did they hold
partly,
US? Did they win that game 48-10? No. I mean, like, I agree. Yeah, there were a few drives that we couldn't finish, but every game there's one or two drives. You're not going to score on every single drive in a game. It's just not going to happen, right? And there were only like 2-3 drives that they didn't score on. Like, I agree. Yes, 100%. The defense won us the fucking game. 100%. But that doesn't mean the offense played bad. They scored touchdowns when they were supposed to, right? This would be a different story if they kicked field goals instead of scored touchdowns, right? He threw a touchdown to Javon Payne. He threw a nice one to Chris Tyree. Estime ran it in. We got a field goal or two. Like, it's not like they didn't score. I mean, they scored, right? I mean, I will say too, with this game, it had everything. Special teams touchdown, field goal, defensive touchdown, offensive deep shot, running touchdown. Like, it had everything in the game.
Another thing I wanted to mention, and this is part of the offense, is I think Jared Parker's still on the hot seat after this game. I kind of understand
a brilliant game, though.
I understand that we want to ball control, keep Caleb Williams off the sideline, but that's not how the game went. Just more our defense got Caleb Williams off the field. But I want to see more deep shots, man.
Re-sign Al Golden to whatever deal he wants, by the way.
Yes.
But
seriously,
people were
can we talk
trashing
about
on
that?
him last year, wanting him fired, and now they love him. But maybe it's the same with Parker. But I will say that, yes, if we took more deep shots, it would kind of be expected. That Tyree deep shot, perfectly timed. Timed.
But we're acting like USC's corners are out here being elite defensive backs. I mean, we should – and that's the thing is, like, I was sitting – me and a bunch of other Notre Dame fans sitting there every single time Notre Dame's offense got the ball. Deep shot. They're putting 9 man in the box. Deep shot. Deep shot, please. Throw the ball deep. Stop throwing the ball 5 yards, 7 yards. Throw it deep. I mean, that's what Sam Hartman is great at, is at the deep ball. And we just, again, I don't know what it is with Parker, but there's been a change in style of play calling from the first 4 weeks, which were very aggressive, taking deep shots at like every drive, to where we get maybe 1 or 2 deep shots that are worth 20 plus more yards a game. I don't know what's changed. I don't know why we're not taking more deep shots, because I feel like if we take deep shots, that, like we just saw with Tyree, that would be open a lot of the time with the way people play defense against us. But instead we choose to run, short pass, run, short pass.
That opens up the deep pass, right?
But when you're running into a 9-man box, that's not, your success rate is not going to be very
100%.
high.
You don't want to run into a 9-man box, right? It's obvious. And Jordan Faison, by the way, has gotten in an extremely high amount of playing time lately. And I mean, he played a lot more than Greathouse.
Which I still don't understand why we're not seeing Greathouse.
I mean, he's still recovering from an injury. He's a freshman.
I think it's almost kind of, it's like, oh, well, maybe is it a red shirt thing? Is it, I mean.
Nah, they're going to continue relying on him. But Bryce McPherson, by the way, a track star there. Yeah, I mean, Faison, I mean, he is a speedster. He's the next slot guy after Tyree.
You think so? You don't think Cam Williams gets the nod over
I don't
Faison?
think Cam Williams starts in the slot.
You think he's an outside guy?
I do, just with his length.
Okay. I think Cam Williams starts as a freshman. You?
Yes.
Okay. I think you got to have Cam Williams, Jaden Greathouse.
I think he starts over.
What are you going to do with Jaden Thomas, though? Because he's going to be a senior next year.
Yeah, I mean, you still start him. I mean, you don't not like. I mean, if it comes to where Chris Tyree comes back, right, and he
Yeah.
should, and he will probably, you start Tyree, you start Jaden Thomas, and you have on the other side a Colsey or something like that, or Cam Williams on the other side, right? Then you rotate. Oh, I'm sorry, you have like a Great House on the other side, and then you rotate the Dion Colsey, you rotate the Cam Williams in the game, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they still need experience. They're young, right? So you can still rely on them.
I
Y'all,
don't know,
because
man. I think
Harper's
like
not starting doesn't mean you don't have a role. Hold
Jaden
stick.
Thomas just hasn't done anything since the Central Michigan game. I mean,
Yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know what's going on with Jaden Thomas.
he's going to be fine. I still think he's our best receiver. Well, I think Jaden Greathouse is our most talented receiver, but in terms of
But
experience,
we're just not. I mean, Jaden Thomas. I don't even think he's got a reception. Maybe one.
yeah. I mean, I also will say that there was only one play that I was frustrated at really with the game, and that was when Hartman threw it to Mitchell Evans instead of Stays underneath,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking
and
about.
Evans got hurt. But I mean,
Um,
I don't think. I mean, I am interested to see what they do with Tobias. Does Tobias transfer? Um, I don't know. Um, it's tough. He just hasn't proved anything, and it was because of short playing time last year. But this year, there's no excuse of how long he's been on the field. I can see. I mean, next year's going to be interesting. We're getting a lot of guys with experience. The room's going to be even better next year. Imagine that. Even better than this year because everybody we have is coming back right on the receiving side of the ball.
yeah,
So,
Tobias is still, to me, it's like there's still something going on that I think that's a mental thing. He's got too much talent to just be no shows consistently throughout a season. I understand he's still a sophomore, but I mean, and
there's people
what
as freshmen like Zachariah Branch that are starring. Jaden Greathouse is playing better as a freshman.
at what point are we going to say, all right, Tobias, you're just not getting it done? You're sliding down the depth chart
This spring. Once those receivers come in, and if they start to impress, that's when you say, we have guys that are here older than you that are playing next to you, and these young guys that are going up on the depth chart.
Yeah. Now let's move on. Let's talk about the
What are your thoughts
defense.
on the game, though?
I just thought it was just an over. That's kind of what I expected. Not the offensive performance we had, but I expected our defense to not completely shut down Caleb Williams. But I
expected
expected
7,
our
8
defense.
sacks. You
No.
expected 3 picks.
I expected our secondary to eat because I knew Caleb Williams was going to put the ball in the air a lot. And I thought that while USC has great receivers, I still think Notre Dame has the best secondary in college football. And I don't think it's particularly close.
Will they still have the best secondary next year?
Yeah. You saw what we did against Ohio State and Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
And we did it again against USC. So, I mean, I think this is the best. I think our defense is top 5 in the country overall when they play like they can play. Man, does this make that Louisville loss hurt more though? Like that is even like if we could have just held off Ohio State for 3 more seconds.
I think the Louisville loss was important for this team to play like this, though. If we beat Louisville, would we have just seen the same team that played Louisville?
Yeah, because the guys said that they had this one circled since last year because they had left a bad taste in their mouth, and I think a rivalry game's different. Even if we could have just squeaked out that win, held on against Ohio State. What's crazy to me is that there are still people putting out this idea that Notre Dame could still make the playoff.
No.
12 team. If we had a 12-team playoff, for sure, without a doubt, with how tough our schedule's been, but not this year.
With a 12-team playoff, we most of the time have to have one loss, maybe two, maybe, and we would maybe get in.
Yeah.
But this year, no chance. Now the question is, I expected us to be around 17 in the polls.
Or
Now
15.
with us at 15, for us to make a New Year's Six bowl, the magic number is 11.
Yeah.
Okay? We need to be ranked 11.
So we
Now-
need everyone ahead of us to just lose, basically.
Yeah, and we're the highest two-loss team for a reason, because we were 1 second away from having one loss, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of in New Year's Six bowl, maybe not even in a shot for. Yes, it was Golden Blade Book. It was a great environment. What a victory is right. Yeah, I'm happy with the win, even though the offense wasn't perfect. Still found a way. It seems like the offensive line and defense decided to pick up the pace, so I'm happy. I mean, half the time we had the ball, we scored. And yes, we relied on the defense. The defense won us the game. I will not question that. And I agree, Golden Playbook, I'm one of the few Notre Dame fans that feel like we should join a conference. If the reason we're independent, money, freedom of schedule, right? If in the Big Ten we have USC, Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State, all of our rivals over there, why the fuck do we not join the Big Ten? If anything, why do we not join the
Sean,
ACC?
we couldn't handle a schedule of Ohio State, Duke, Louisville, and USC and come out of there unscathed. What do you think what's going to happen when we have to play a 6-game schedule of Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Michigan State, Purdue, and then you got Rutgers, Wisconsin, Iowa, Illinois? Like, you think we're really going to be able to come out of that like unscathed? And if anything, like Michigan, look at their schedule next year. Michigan might go 9-3 and not make the playoff.
But what's their schedule this year?
Bad. But I'm saying like Notre Dame benefits now because we're not going to have a tough schedule the next couple years.
It does help that Stanford's in the ACC because that will now count as an ACC game for us, right?
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see who they add as the 12th. Next year, by the way, is the easiest Notre Dame schedule that I've seen.
And it gets easier. And it gets easier because we're not going to play USC for 3 years. I don't know if you saw that, but
what?
Yeah, that rivalry's done for the next 3 years.
We play them next year.
Nope.
Yes, we do. I looked at the schedule.
On their schedule?
Our schedule.
No, theirs is we're going on a hiatus, I believe.
No, pull that up.
Yep, hold on. USC.
But I will say, though, that New Year's Six Bowl is very much in chance. And if we do play New Year's Six Bowl, it will likely be a Fiesta Bowl berth as the highest non-bid against an Air Force. And I would love to fucking play Air Force. I mean, I just want to win a New Year's Six Bowl. Please, please, please. Can we please win a New Year's Six Bowl this year before they're all in the playoff?
Okay, hold on. I was wrong. All right. So Notre Dame plays them next year and the year after. They do not play them in 2027. Yeah, 2026. Okay. So 2026 will be the last year for a while of the rivalry. After that, it goes on 3-year hiatus. Notre Dame will not play USC again until 2030.
Then what's the fucking point of being independent, Ryan? If we've lost our biggest rival in USC and our second biggest rival in Michigan, what the fuck is the point?
We'll be guaranteed to go 11-1 or 12-0 every year because. But dude, we'll get in the playoff. That's the thing.
I'd rather play USC every fucking year. We hate USC. That's the
I
fun
understand
about
that, but dude, how I look at it is that now we're gonna have an easy schedule, pretty much every year. We'll basically be guaranteed a playoff spot, and with how easy our schedule is, and then think about it: if Notre Dame's team is as good as they think they are, and all we have to do is play one game or a couple games in a 12-team playoff against like a USC or Michigan. I like our chances because guess what? Notre Dame's not going to be exhausted. They wouldn't have went through a gauntlet of a schedule, so they get the benefit of that.
I will say, if we don't have a gauntlet of the schedule and we do have a loss or two, that hurts us compared to having a gauntlet of a schedule. The reason we're the highest ranked 2-loss team is because we've had a gauntlet schedule, right?
Yep.
By the way, I do feel by 2027, yes, I agree, Golden Playbook, but I do feel like by 2027, they will renew the rivalry. There's no way they cancel USC and Michigan.
Why not just switch it out? Like have USC go on hiatus for a little bit and switch it out with Michigan.
I hate USC more than Michigan.
I hate Michigan more just for the fact that since 2010, Michigan has been more like they've been better than USC has. And USC's kind of been, I don't want to say irrelevant, but outside of last year in 2016 when Notre Dame just had a down year, USC has never really been a threat.
Okay, but
Notre Dame.
Let me just say, though, that these rivalry games are important in college football. And I do think in 2027, even though it's not listed on the schedule, we will play them. In a year or two from now, I mean, that schedule is far in advance, right? They're not going to cancel our two biggest rivalries. It's just not going to happen.
I mean, and I'd like to see Notre Dame Clemson be considered a rivalry. I know it probably won't, but I think that could.
I mean, I agree. I mean, this is why I feel like we should join the ACC or Big Ten.
And also, I mean, like they could make Clemson a rivalry. Just play Clemson every year, I guess, or Florida State. I guess at that point you might as well just join the ACC. But I do like that Notre Dame is scheduling SEC opponents. Like we got Texas A&M the next 2 years. We've got Arkansas a couple years after that. Alabama. Oh, can you imagine how that electric that Alabama at Notre Dame game would be?
Yeah.
I don't think they've ever came to South Bend either.
I will say, I'm upset about that. I will say that I do feel like they're going to renew the rivalry with the contract. There's no way that a non-conference game for USC and Notre Dame, in the Pac-12, they've always had Notre Dame, USC. I see the same thing happening in the Big Ten. I think that it's like that because of them joining the Big Ten. They haven't figured out how they want their schedules yet. But we'll see. All right. Do you think the Irish, what has to happen? I want to talk about that. What has to happen for Notre Dame to make a New Year's Six bowl this year? And I want to look at the AP top 25.
I think
I want to.
I'll pull it up. Yeah, I don't think a lot has to happen. I think a lot of it handles itself. We see 2-loss teams. Like most of the time, New Year's Six bowls are between 2-loss teams. So, let's see if I can find this. Had it online. Let's see.
There once was a ship that was put to sea.
All right, let's get it. So I got it up. And share that. All right. So I don't think we have much that has to happen because Ole Miss, they're going to lose. Again, they play, I think, not LSU. They play
Georgia and they play Alabama.
Georgia.
No, they play Georgia.
Oregon State, they're probably going to lose another game. Alabama, who knows? North Carolina, they're definitely going to lose a game. Oregon's probably going to lose another game.
I will say that.
Texas will probably – they could lose another game because that's what Texas does.
Texas wins out.
Penn State will have 2 losses. Oklahoma will probably have a loss. I don't think they go undefeated.
But Penn State, if they have 2 losses, They could still be ahead of Notre Dame. Let's not forget these tie-ins, right?
Yeah.
Some of the games are like Big Ten, ACC, SEC, and Notre Dame, or at large. So the at larges are what matters because the
Well, I'm telling you
how the
right now,
conference-
North Carolina is probably going to finish with 2 losses.
I
maybe
think they
3.
finish with 1 loss, and if they do, they could be ahead of them.
Washington, that's an interesting one.
Washington makes the
State.
playoffs.
Yeah. Well, Florida State, I don't know. I think they could easily lose this week against Duke.
If Duke beats Florida State, Duke could jump us.
No, they won't jump us. They won't do that because Notre Dame beat them, so they would have to value the head-to-head there.
But they would value the head-to-head if we each had 1 loss. But we have 2 losses. It's important to look at a record too.
I don't know.
I mean, that's Notre Dame's 1 spot ahead of Duke right now.
I
But
think
if
Notre
Duke's a
Dame.
top
I think
5
Notre Dame
team-
just has to win out. That's literally it.
Do you think there's anyone behind that can jump Notre Dame?
No, maybe Mizzou.
I mean, I think if LSU beats a Bama, they definitely could, right?
I don't think so because I think if you look at both their losses, Notre Dame's losses are better than LSU's. LSU got blown out by 28 by Florida
USC
State.
could win the Pac-12. That in itself could have them jump Notre Dame.
I'd like to see. I don't know if there's a bowl tie-in for this. LSU Notre Dame bowl, New Year's Six bowl, please.
Well, I think LSU loses to Bama, so that's my prediction with that. And if Bama plays Notre Dame in a New Year's Six, I mean, I'll tell you the tie-ins right now for New Year's Six bowls.
Yep.
So, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
So the tie-ins for okay. So we got the 14 playoff, right? So those are playoff games. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4 New Year's Six bowls. Ready?
Yep.
Last year there was a problem, right? Because last year the Rose Bowl was not a playoff game, and the Sugar was not a playoff game. Those are Pac-12, Big Ten, and SEC Big 12 games, right?
Yeah.
Those are now playoff games. So now all of the New Year's Six bowls are 1 tie-in, ACC Orange Bowl, which we will not get the ACC in the Orange Bowl. We already know that. Versus SEC, Big Ten, or Notre Dame. Let's be realistic. This is probably going to be North Carolina against Alabama or North Carolina against Ohio State, right? That's what's going to happen.
That's dumb because I feel like Notre Dame is a better team than North Carolina.
But the ACC has an at-large tie-in.
I thought it was ACC or Notre Dame. Highest ranked ACC team or Notre Dame team?
It's ACC for bowl games, except for the Orange Bowl, which is why the.
So what is the thing that I saw? Because there was a thing last year when we were vying for one.
Yes.
And it was a highest ranked ACC team or Notre Dame.
No, because there was a year or two ago, where we were the highest ranked in the ACC, but they had of North Carolina who we beat in the New Year's Six Bowl. I'm telling you, every single ACC game we can, except for the Orange Bowl, which is why the tie-in is after that, Big Ten, SEC, or Notre Dame in that order.
Okay, what if North Carolina has 2 losses?
It's the highest ranked ACC team.
Oh, so it doesn't even matter.
No. So I will say this, though. This is good because last year the problem was if we would have beaten USC, there was a chance we could have gotten in the 11-12 spot and maybe made a New Year's Six Bowl. But the Rose Bowl and the other bowl, Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl were tie-ins. Like I said, the highest ranked Big 12 versus SEC and the highest ranked Pac-12 versus Big 10. This is probably the last year with a few tie-ins because Pac-12 is.
Do you think it helps us because I think Clemson wins this week against Miami.
So
if Clemson's ranked, does that help?
The good news I want to say is those tie-in games are playoff games. So all 3 other New Year's Six Bowls are at-large games, highest ranked, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Air Force automatically gets one because they're the highest group of 5.
Yeah.
But who is the lowest ranked? Let me see the top 25 again. That's the last thing I want to see.
Okay. Hold on one second.
Because right now we're projected in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against Kansas.
The Pop-Tart Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Joking.
But there's some things that need to happen. But the highest...
We're not playing Kansas. Kansas isn't even ranked.
The lowest ranked team in the top 25, once you pull it up, that's projected in a New Year's Six Bowl right now, is... So the magic number for us to make a New Year's Six Bowl.
Who did you say what it was?
What?
Who did you say was the lowest that was projected to make a bowl game?
The lowest to projected in a New Year's Six Bowl right now, well, technically is Air Force because of their buy-in, but is Alabama. They are 11. We have to at least get to 11 to have the at-large in. Period. We need to get to 11 to make a New Year's Six Bowl. 12 won't cut it because a group of 5 teams behind us.
And we can get to 11, I think.
Well, Clemson will be ranked, I think, by the time we play them.
And Utah, I think the 4 teams ahead of us, including North Carolina, Oregon, and Oklahoma, those teams could all lose. And I think if Oregon State, Alabama, Ole Miss, Utah, they get their second losses, I think they drop behind Notre Dame.
Well, I think what Notre Dame needs to cheer for right now is they need to cheer for Florida State. They need to cheer for Michigan. They need to cheer for some of these teams to go undefeated and beat those teams that are lower than them. We need a Duke, Tennessee to have 3 losses, 2 losses. We need those teams to have 3 losses so there's no argument. And then we need to have the teams ahead of us lose, which will happen. And so these teams play each other, which is good for Notre Dame. Oregon State. Ole Miss, Alabama's already played, but Utah plays Oregon. Michigan, Ohio State, Washington. All these teams are playing each other, right? Penn State with 2 losses.
And North Carolina, they still got to play Florida State and Duke.
So here's what Notre Dame needs to root for. Technically, I mean, I'm being technical here.
Mm-hmm.
We still want Florida State to beat Duke. But if Florida State doesn't make the playoffs somehow, they would have that ACC bid over a North Carolina or something. So,
yeah,
I don't know what's going to happen. It's a long season. We still have 4 weeks left.
And honestly, it's my thing is like I have Mizzou. I don't know if you watched our hot take segment, but I have Mizzou winning the SEC. So that I don't know how much that would mess things up.
That Georgia loses to Ole Miss. So call me crazy. I think Ole Miss.
Dude, I think Mizzou, like, because when I first said it, I was like, oh, well, I don't know, because Georgia, I think it comes down to that Georgia game. But, I mean, and then you see with Brock Bowers, I'm like, yeah, Mizzou's going to beat Georgia without Brock Bowers.
Then they jump us.
But then the thing is, like, well, they lost to LSU head-to-head. And that game was at Mizzou. So what do you do there?
They're still jumping us. They beat the number 1 team in the country.
So we should root for Mizzou?
I think we need to root for all the top teams to keep winning and then it would set itself out. Because then the Penn States would lose twice, which they could still be ahead of us with 2 losses. Not saying they should, but they could. Then Oregon could lose another game. Utah lose another game. We just need some of these teams to start losing again, right? And we're fine. I think we could make a New Year's Six bowl.
Do you
We
think
still
that
got what?
Louisville loss hurts us in terms of a New Year's Six, depending on how Louisville does?
I still think they go 10-2 ish. So I will say though that we have 4 games left, right?
Yeah.
We have Pitt, Clemson,
Wake Forest and Stanford.
Wake Forest, and Stanford. The only one I see us having a chance to lose is Clemson, and I don't think we lose that.
You don't think we sleepwalk into Palo Alto?
Not after last year.
Oh, you think that's going to be a bloodbath?
I think it could be. I mean, that could be. I mean, there's also a chance that Sam Hartman opts out of a New Year's Six bowl or a bowl game.
Dude, I'd be so mad.
But
I'd be so mad.
I just saw something on Twitter that says Mel Kiper or teams, NFL teams, have ranked the #1 running back that could enter the draft as Audric Estime. The #1 running back. I saw that on NFL Scout. So
Jesus.
he's probably gone next year.
And I give Jeremiah Love. Put Jeremiah Love in the if he.
I would have never thought this year he would be gone after this year. I thought he'd be a senior and then be a late round pick to flourish. But man, is he doing a man thing.
2 more things before we get out of here. I want to talk about first things first. So we didn't really talk about it yet. Xavier Watts.
Yeah.
What a performance. What a performance.
Clap with me.
I said this, and I want your opinion on this. I said Xavier Watts just had a top 5 individual performance in Notre Dame football history in terms of impacting the game. He had the 2 picks, both of which could have went for pick sixes. Had the strip fumble return for a touchdown. Xavier Watts was all over.
Forced a fumble.
Talk about a guy that was the key to stopping Caleb Williams. Every time Caleb Williams thought about taking off, guess who was there? Number 0. Guess who, when Caleb was trying to scramble out of the pocket to get a first down, Caleb looked up and decided to say, I'm not going to take a hit. I'm going to lay down. Xavier Watts. Like, our safety position was one of the weaker, one of the bigger question marks on this team going into the season. Xavier Watts has been outstanding this year, and he doesn't get enough credit for it. But do you think that was a top 5 individual performance in Notre Dame history?
No.
No? Okay.
I will say top 5 or top 10 defensive history.
Okay.
I mean, you get 2 picks, a forced fumble, and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. That's insane. He controlled the game. He was everywhere. And Benjamin Morrison, your boy, finally got a pick, right? It seems like he only shows up in big games with a pick, which I'm okay with.
No, you know what he does? In other games that aren't big games, he almost gets a pick.
Yep, but in big games, he'll get the pick.
Against Ohio State, he dropped 2. But I'll forgive him for that.
Yeah, so, I mean, but Watts, he looked electric. He was on fire, and he'll come back next year. There's no way he
Did you hear, or I don't know, did you see him after the game when we stormed? He walked over to Caleb Williams and struck the Heisman pose at him.
I heard about that. I didn't see it.
Dude.
I didn't see any players other than Mitchell Evans on the field.
Dude, that was hilarious. He literally just went up to him and went, love it. Loved it.
Yeah. He balled out. And what's good is we're going to have him back next year.
You think he comes back?
There's 0% chance
I thought he was a 6th year senior, or is he a 5th year?
He's a 5th year. He has 1 more year.
Okay, cool.
So
then what? We lose Thomas Harper, and Antonio Carter gets the start on the other side because DJ Brown's gone.
Yeah.
I'm excited about Antonio Carter. Are you? I think he's going to be great.
I will say that I'm a little nervous about the linebackers next year in terms of experience. I'm sure we'll have Snead.
Oh, Jalen Snead had a big game too. Let's talk about that.
He's starting to step up, and he'll make a big impact next year. But
dude, he had 2 dropped interceptions. Did you see that? He had 1 that he should have had. Oh,
but on Xavier Watts. He had a great performance, one of the best defensive performances in a single night in Notre Dame history, and he struck gold and he looked great. He needed a game like that. He could be a captain next year.
This is a good
Finally got
comment.
sacks too, buddy. Finally got sacked.
Yes. Caleb's nail polish smeared off from getting sacked so many times. Oh, man. All right. One more thing, and then I'll bring up something that actually has to do with that comment. But Carter Nelson, he was the big visitor for the game. Real briefly, what do you think the chances are that the Irish pull off a flip of the elite tight end prospect?
50-50.
Okay.
Great experience, great game. But he only went because it was a bye week, and he's still going to all the Nebraska home games. I still think he's a solid Nebraska commit. I just think he didn't want to pass up a big trip, an opportunity like this to go to a game like this. Now I think we put quite the impression, but I'm not like hype like we're gonna land him. We got some great tight end commits crystal ball to Notre Dame right now too.
Even with Nebraska sucking this year, you think he still wants to go play over there?
They've sucked the last 10 years and he wanted to commit there. So
because my thing is I think it was different. I think the only reason he went to Nebraska this earlier was, he's a Nebraska fan, his family are, but Matt Rule had a lot of excitement around him. I think that excitement has died down a lot because of how bad they've looked. And I think Deuce Knight posted a picture with Carter Nelson on Twitter and did hashtag Notre Dame fans stay tuned.
Well,
I think Deuce Knight, because him and Deuce Knight, I guess, connected really well. And I think if anyone can get Carter Nelson to flip, it's Deuce Knight for sure.
We'll see. I'm not getting my hopes up with that, but he would be he'd be one of the best additions in the class. And if we were to land him, our offensive class, perfect. Mm-hmm. Perfect.
It's kind of odd because this time last year, we were still worried about finishing the 2023 class. Coming into this year, we're all done with 2024 pretty much, with the exception of, maybe we can flip Caleb Beasley. Maybe we can flip Carter Nelson.
Yeah, I think maybe we get one or two more lands. One or two more players committed in this year's cycle, like 3-star types as developmental pieces, and then I think we'll be solid.
Yeah, I mean, do you think we get any of the big three, Justin Scott, Caleb Beasley, or Carter Nelson?
I think we get Carter Nelson above all others, yeah.
Okay. What about Jamie French, the 5-star 2025 receiver, the number 2 receiver in the class? Do you think we can pull the flip off there for him? He's an Alabama commit. Him and Deuce Knight are best friends. He wasn't going to take other visits, but then I think he's coming for the Pitt game, I think. You think that Deuce can get him to flip?
If anyone can do it, it's Deuce.
All right. And then one final thing, and then we'll get out of here. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. We did what did you I know you saw the video, I'm sure, of us storming the field and doing the let me see them nails now, bro. What'd you think about that? I know saw some Notre Dame fans say it was classless. I saw others say it was hilarious and well deserved. Also, Barstool Sports stole that post from me and just gave me a tag. So screw them. I was like the first one to post it outside of ND Barstool. So yeah, screw them. But yeah, what were your thoughts on that?
Thought you should have gotten a lot more followers from how many.
Yeah.
Man, what have you gotten? 5 since then?
Yeah.
Millions of views.
Yep.
Shit. But it's a mixture of both. But I enjoyed it. I mean, he's lucky he didn't get trucked by Caleb Williams. It was really good on Caleb Williams how he took that. And I will say that about Caleb Williams. He took that very well.
If he would have lost it and punched that guy in the face, he would have that would have been like, oh well, Caleb Williams has anger issues. He's got
I will
you can't
say
handle
though,
criticism.
he did good. So good on him. I feel like, go up to them and be like, hey, mess with them all you want, just as long as you're not touching them, right? It's funny, right? If he painted his fingernails and he talked shit, we can talk shit too, right?
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
I had USC fans complaining about that, saying it was how classless it was. And I was like, really? What about all the crap talking you guys did last year? Like, my thing is, like, if I'm going to talk trash as a grown man and I paint my nails FND and then I play them the next year and I get my ass kicked, and then I want to sit there and my fans want to sit there and cry about, oh, that's classless. Like, you can't, if you can, and that just means you can dish it out, but you can't take it back. Like, that, it's just how it is. I mean, and I was telling USC fans, I'm
Well,
like,
the same Notre Dame fans that didn't like the finger paint thing loved it. So I thought the finger paint thing by Williams was hilarious, because if a Notre Dame player did that, I would have loved it, right? So I would have loved it if Drew Pine had "fuck USC" on his hands. But I thought it was funny. I mean, I think if you can't dish it, you take it too. And I mean, he took it, right? He took it. So,
and that's the thing is, like, I told USC fans and fans that were complaining about it, I'm like, you guys must not watch college football, because I've seen fans go up to players and say worse and act worse. Go watch a Texas-Oklahoma game. Go see how those fans act towards the opposing teams when they're on the field.
Oh, speaking of fans on the field, some of them fans stank. Bro, some of those fans smelled like absolute shit. Like someone shit their pants, and half of us were like, what the fuck is that? Right? I was like, holy shit, that was disgusting.
Dude, I don't know about you. I was getting pissed off because I kept getting
college
pushed.
kids. Y'all need a bath. These college kids at Notre Dame. A bath.
I don't know about you, man, but I was getting pissed off with the amount of times I was getting pushed when I was trying to get out of there. Like,
yeah, people were just standing. Like
just standing there. I'm like, dude, what? Oh, and the PA announcer, you suck. Or not the PA announcer, but whoever the guy is that does the immediately get off the field. Find your near. They kept playing that like 50 times.
Go to
right
the
after
south. Well, I'm over here by the north, and I'm going out this fucking tunnel. I was going out the tunnel that they come on the field. Period.
Yeah. Dude, why we had literally just got on the field, and all of a sudden, please immediately get off the field. I'm like, what do you mean immediately? We just got on the field.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think they did that for Clemson. I don't think they made fans get off the field. I heard after the Clemson game, those fans stayed on the field for like an extra 30, 40 minutes. Like, I don't know. And I'm surprised Coach Freeman didn't stay out there and do another one of that. Let's go. Like that again, like, because he did it last year. He didn't do it this year.
He came out in the tunnel.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, he came out in the tunnel and was like, yeah, let's go. And then he clapped a few fans' hands. That was after we left. Because Hartman did the thing and he was doing this and we couldn't see that, but we saw him go like this because we were a little ahead. But we were in there with them.
Did you see the post-game press conference where Marcus Freeman was, I think it was when he came in and Sam was doing that. And he's like,
all right, settle down.
He's like, settle down, Sam. I'm trying to do an interview.
Dude, do you think Al Golden stays next year?
No, he's gone. He's gone. He is definitely gone in the NFL.
For a head coaching gig?
Yeah. I think he either leaves for a head coaching job or he goes to the NFL.
Who replaces? Mickens?
I've seen that.
I think you hire externally, someone outside.
I'd like to see happen is you get rid of.
Again.
I'd like to see get rid of Parker, hire an offensive guy, like open the checkbook, maybe go get Ryan Grubbs, the OC at Washington. Go get him, and then maybe hire Stuckey or not Stuckey.
I like Gino Gaduli too.
Yeah, I mean he's a quarterbacks coach, so you think he'd call a pretty quarterback friendly offense, but
Reese didn't.
well, at defensive coordinator, I could see Mickens, and then him being.
I think Parker comes back next year.
Like you promote Mickens to the quote defensive coordinator, but it's really Freeman that calls the defensive plays, and then Freeman just gives like the offensive duties completely over to like a new OC. I don't know. I don't think you could do that with Parker.
I think Parker comes back next year if we win out. And we win a New Year's Six bowl.
Dude, he's going to be so bad with the offense. Like, he's not going to want to throw the ball at all.
I don't blame him if Angeli's the quarterback.
Dude. I swear to God, if I go through another, like, 4 games the rest of this year, another 12-game season next year of just conservative play calling, I'm going to lose it.
Hey, if we win a New Year's Six bowl this year, do whatever you want. We haven't seen that in our lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
So who cares if they are meaningless now? They're about to be playoff games. We need to fucking win one. We need to win a New Year's Six bowl. Period.
Oh, what about that? Move Tucker back to tight ends coach. Get in
at the same place. He is not demoting at the same place. He's either staying or he's gone.
What if Andy Ludwig calls again from Utah? No.
I think Parker comes back next year if we win out.
What if we lose a game?
If we lose a game, he's replaced.
I want us to lose a game. No,
you don't.
Have us lose to Stanford again. There we go. Then we can fire Jared Parker.
I'll have us lose a New Year's Six bowl again, huh? Please. I would love. What if we played what if we got a rematch with Ohio State? What if we played North Carolina? What if we played Alabama? Because I think we could beat a lot of those damn teams.
I think we could beat Alabama. I think we could beat Ohio State too if we got a rematch again.
I would fucking love it.
All right, Sean. Well, it's been another great episode. We're on a bye week, so we get to chill, relax, kind of savor this win for a little bit. But yeah, what an amazing win. Great atmosphere. So glad we got to meet up, storm the field. But as always, guys, this has been the Goaltender with your host, Ryan Fravel, with my co-host, Sean, at Indy Forever on Twitter. Go give us each a follow. We will be back next week for the preview for Pitt, I believe. Yeah. But anyways, guys, stay safe. And as always,